Get back to business. Let's show you what's next. Alright, so here we go. Day 62 on the build for what it's worth. So we're starting 2017, something like 275 hours into the build, and I'm thinking we're about halfway. So it's been roughly a year so far. It was kind of March or something. I put this on the bench, and in between quite a sterling march forward when we first started, it's just been a steady tick over. I've paced this in a way that I think I'm about halfway, so perhaps towards the end of this season I'll be able to roll this out into the daylight and done. Anyway, for today I've just got one little finishing job. I want to fill these holes in, which is a pretty straightforward thing, and that will hopefully then mean, as far as steel fabrication on this tail bit, this little tail hump, that will be done for the minute. Once that's done, you can sign it off and start joining it to the front, and that's going to be a really creative and fun part. So without waffling too much on this one, I just want to get these filled in, get a welder out, get back to business, like I said, and see where we can go from here. Let's get this done first, and then we'll talk about that at the end. Right, there we are. Now, it's lovely. Have a look at that. And there. You know, it's lovely to be able to grind that back until it disappears and there's just nothing there. But grinding mat welds on sheet metal is always a game of Russian roulette, kind of, because you never know how much you're going through the parent steel or the patch steel. And you can end up foil thin and then you've compromised the strength. I'd rather leave these little recesses, little bubbles where the weld was, where there was a recess, and then fill that. It's all being body worked anyway, so there's no reason to grind that back any more than it is. The beauty of it is that it follows the profile. Both of those, you can see there. Where is it? That follows the profile of the tank, which I kind of like, and again, it didn't have to. It could have been flat and then I could have just put a bit more filler, but any of you who do body work know that less filler is always good, so that just needs really kind of a very thin skin. Whatever goes around that edge there to mould that will just blend over that and it's gone, so there's no issues. Same as that. So now that's all just ready for body work now. So let's plonk it on and then I can at least sign that off as the tail panel fabricated in terms of steel, welding, sheet metal, tin bashing on the bike done, and then move on to the next. So let's get it on. I want to show you is this, kind of alluded to it earlier. This line here is going to be the line that I follow, and this is the next trick, is to take one of these pieces of wire, weld that up on in there, and you can see the line there straight away, can't you? See that, Pam? Mm-hmm. So that will be the line that the seat unit takes. It will come along there, and then I'll bring another one from there which will come along. Ignore that bend, let's just take another piece. I'll bring another one along and it will come in and pick up. So obviously what I'm intending to do is literally sculpt this section so that it fits perfectly over this frame. The other thing that's important, and this is the next point I want to make, obviously that will take shape, that will happen, and you'll be part of that all the way along. Very much the same as we did the frame on this. We'll be using the wire and the stretching over of the cloth and gluing it on and the fiberglass and all the rest of it, so that'll be really good fun. And the frame itself has presented, as I said earlier, a new, I was going to say problem then, not a new problem, just a new challenge, a new procedure that I've got to use, and I've got some tools for it already, so I'll get some materials to go with it and it'll work. And it's one thing that a few of you suggested when I was doing the belly pan, and that's a thing called riv nuts or nutserts. Never heard of it? Probably not. Many of you probably have. If you look on close on here, you see that, Pen? This is a little captive thread that's been pressed into this frame. This frame, as you can see by the colour of that metal, is aluminium box section, and I can't weld anything to it. I can't weld a steel thread to an aluminium box section. It can't be done. So the way that even the factory have done this is to press in a special steel thread, and you buy them and there's a tool for them, and I've got that, and that's what we're going to be doing. So the first thing will be to drill the holes where I want the strongest mount points, probably on the side, so that when it comes to take this off, it will just be bolts on the side, undo them, lift the tail off, very much like I did the Bandit. So it'll be find locations first of all, and then add these riv nuts in. You fit them in a special way. They're a little bit like pot rivets, very similar principle to pot rivets. And once they're all in, I've got steel threads. Then I can make some tabs. Those tabs will then be bolted literally to the threads, and then I'll bring the wire down to the tabs and then weld the wire to the tab. There is the procedure right there. It's as simple as that. Put the thread in place, kind of working backwards. Thread in place first, metal tab against the thread, then bring the wire or the frame, whatever it is, down to the tab and weld it on. And do that, what, 4 or 8 times, and suddenly you've got it mounted. And then also, because you've taken your guides from the existing frame, which is absolutely straight, we measured all that when I narrowed it and so on, I know that the whole thing will sit straight when it's done. There is probably a 2 mil discrepancy on this. This curvature here, when you stand right above the bike, is kind of off by about 2 mil from that side to that. But honestly, it's not going to show once it's body worked, because I can lose that 2mm in filler and body work and make it absolutely straight when time comes. So there we are, there's loads and loads of stuff to come. But before we go anywhere else, I want to show you this one thing. I want to show you a special tool that I got for Christmas. It's always nice showing off your Christmas presents, and it will be something we'll be using pretty much next, in the next video after this. I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so these rivet nuts, when you come to fit them in the frame or wherever you're going to fit them, you need a tool to fit them in. Obviously Christmas has just gone through, so I managed to get some vouchers and stuff, and I've invested, treated myself to one of these. Now this is, I'm going to do a simple skills on this. This isn't just right away for now. I'm not going to do it now, I'm just going to show you what it is, and in due course I'll be doing a proper simple skills on how to use this. It looks like a big set of bolt props, but what that is a pot riveter. Now we've all seen a regular pot rivet plier. This is a normal set of pot rivet pliers. You've all seen these. You put the pot rivet in the end and away you go. This is just a massive heavy duty version of it. You can fit up to sort of 6mm thick pot rivets, or I think it's 8mm, really chufty ones. There we are. Yeah, 6mm thick body, which is a really big pot rivet, and stainless steel ones as well, which are really hard to break, so that's what they're for. These also fit the rivet nuts. That's what the leverage on that's all about. So I'll be doing a little simple skills on that when the time comes. I've got to get some rivet nuts before I can do anything and show you, because I'm got any. These kits don't come with them there. So I'll show you how to use all that. You get all these sort of mandrels and heads. When the time comes, I'll show you to make a proper thread in your bike anywhere you want it, so you can bolt something to it. So if you've got an accessory or an exhaust or any custom part you want to fit and you can't weld, or you don't want to weld to your frame, or it's aluminium like my issue here, you can fit a thread and bolt something to it with this kit, and you don't have to go spending 80 or 90 pounds that this kit was. You can get rivet nut pliers like that for small 6mm ones, so there's loads of options. That will be coming up shortly as a simple skills. Cool, eh? Mm-hmm. Okay, right, I think we'll call it done, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave you with the wall of friends. That's been the first fabrication one for 2017. Who knows how long this is going to take, but I'm hoping we can roll this thing out into the daylight before the end of the season. Hey, Ben? Be nice, wouldn't it? Anything else, darling?
That's it, thanks.
Okay, I'll leave you with the wall of friends. Take it, ride safe. Welcome to 17. See you next time.